Let me ask you something. Are you getting everything out of your rent-to-own business? If you're not an A-Pro member, then the answer is probably no. Look, advocacy is A-Pro's bread and butter. This is why they were created and what they do best. But here's the thing. A-Pro membership is about way more than advocacy. A-Pro connects you to the movers and the shakers of the industry, people who've been there, done that, and they can help you do it even better. A-Pro's monthly webinars give you expert insights and actionable takeaways. It's like having a masterclass for your business every single month. Got questions about complex regulations or sticky situations? No problem. A-Pro's legal hotline gives you direct access to experts who have got the answers. That's a peace of mind that you can't put a price on. And let's not forget the resources, news, updates, and tools that keep you ahead of the curve. Scholarships for your team? Check. Disaster relief when you need it most? Double check. A-Pro is your ultimate support system in the rent-to-own world. So stop settling for less. With A-Pro, members get more. More support, more connections, and more success. Head over to rtohq.org and join the A-Pro family today. Because in this business, more isn't just better. It's essential. See you at the top with A-Pro. Hello and welcome to the RTO Show. It's your host, Pete Shaw. Today we're talking rent-to-own with Jason Winters, and we're talking about pricing and the proper way to do it. Not just pricing, guys. It's about the way you do it, how you do it, what it looks like to the customer, and what makes the most sense. And I want to say right now, if you guys are going into anywhere in the time of the year where your sales are going up, your pricing matters. Okay, when they come into the store, your pricing matters. But let's start with Jason. What do you think is the best way to price high idle? Something that's been sitting there for a little while that we want to move, we want to get out of there. It's a 90-day or longer, right? Because I think that's an industry standard is a 90-day rule. And if it's been sitting there for longer than 90 days, what do we do? What do you say, Jason? What's a good way to move high idle?
Well, back in my day, before all the automation and everything else, we used to have to handwrite all the price tags.
Oh, I remember that.
We didn't have the scanner. We didn't have the computer just spit it out, right? So we had to sit there and think and write the price. So if you look at the item and, you had to write that big number on the cash price or on whatever, and you knew like, oh, no way. No one's going to do this, right? Like that's not going to happen. But the problem nowadays that I was struggling with all the time was I used to call them slap tags. When someone got returned, it automatically generated a price tag based on how long it'd been out. Coworker didn't look at it, and they just took the tag out of the computer, slapped it on the item, walk away. Don't even put any thought whatsoever into what they're charging.
Slap tag. I like that. Slap tag. I like that
But
term.
if someone had taken that and they got jeffed up, let's say that someone took the washer and dryer out for one delivery, didn't use any of the equipment we provide for them, no blankets, no straps, no dolly, just scrapped it all the way in and out of the customer's house. Customer gets there, sees it. Oh, this thing's all dented up. It wasn't like that in the showroom. I don't want it. Oh, take it back. He brings it back, brings it up, beats it down again all the way back into the store. And then you come upon it in the back room and you see it's all dented up and you look at it and say, what happened? He goes, oh, yeah, the customer really screwed it up, man. But now it happened. The thing had only been on rent for 1 week, but now it looks like it's been through a war.
Yeah.
Right? And the computer, if you just trust the computer to spit out a tag, it's going to say, oh, it's only been rent for 1 week. This is going to be full price, almost, pretty close, maybe 1 week off. But you slap that on there, it's a scarecrow. Customers come in, let's be honest, they already kind of think that the prices are going to be high. Let's just call it what it is, right? They don't think about everything that goes into that price and everything that we offer and the risk we take and all the service we offer and everything and all that stuff. They don't care about that. They care about, if I can buy it at Walmart, why am I going to pay this?
Exactly.
Right? Well, Walmart, like I talked about before, they get a train car full of TVs. They can offer them at a discount because they get a big break. We don't get that break. There's a million reasons why we charge what we charge. And we charge what we charge in order to stay alive. It's not like we're number 2 on the Fortune 500, right? We're struggling to make $1 charging what we charge. Most bigwigs that come through your store, like any kind of regional director or VP or something like that, if they come to the store, one of the first things they look at is your price tags.
Oh, God, they walk in and you can see the eyes, right?
And that's because they know that they're going to find some that are bananas. And that young couple that's outside that one of them wants to come in and take a look at the washer and dryers, and the other one's, I heard this place, overcharges or whatever, right? All right, well, let's go. Look, I'll tell you what, let's go look at the one that is, used and abused. And if we can't afford that one, then we'll just leave. And I just know that little couple will just come over, walk over right to that washer and dryer that got beat up on the way back and forth from the customer's house. And they're going to look at that price tag. And if it just got spit out from the computer, one of them's going to look at the other one and say, I told you so. And the other one's going to be like, we're just looking. And then you're going to leave because all you did was slap the tag the computer spit out. The computer doesn't have a nose. The computer doesn't have eyeballs. The computer can't sit on the couch cushions and feel if they're comfortable or not. If you can't see it, you shouldn't be in charge of deciding what the price is. And if something's been sitting in the store for 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, the customers are telling you, no thanks, not at that price.
Well, that should be an indicator, right? If you're looking at the pricing and you're going through your showroom and you're looking at your 90 days, which you should be doing all the time, right? You should at least spend one day a week going through and going, okay, these are my 90 days. If you don't schedule it with your assistant, which I would really have them come with you so that you can do it together as a training situation, but look at it and go, why is this here? It looks good. It's got all the pieces, right? It works. It's functional.
If it is.
Most
of the time.
Well, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. But then the question is, if I priced it properly, why is it found a home in my showroom? Why is it not just visiting me and going to somebody else's home? And the proper pricing can have so much to do with that, right? So condition-based pricing is probably the biggest thing that we have going on because, of course, aside from a brand new product that you unbox, so you take the wrapper off and it looks real good and you set it on the showroom, everything has a condition-based price. Because the moment that it says pre-loved or pre-leased on your agreement, then you have to look at it because that means it probably moved. I mean, I'd say 9 out of 10 because you always have that one, maybe you typed it up and then they decided they didn't want it or you got to change it to something else and God knows it happens. But, you should be able to look at it and go, okay, this has been out, whether it's been 1 time or 2 times or 10 times, and does it function and work and look like it was supposed to the day that it came in?
I tell a story every time when I want to train somebody on pricing. And I tell them, and then this is my honest belief, that there's 3 types of customers that come into the store. Number 1, the junk collector customer, right? The one that'll come in the door. Hey, guys, got any returns? You got anything that you repoed from some? That's what they say.
I love those guys.
You should love those guys.
I love those guys.
Those guys and those people. And it's not just them, but also there's someone coming in looking for a deal. Right? Every customer is going to tell you within the first 5 minutes what's most important to them. And in this case, I hate to say junkie collector, but there's the ones that only care about price. The most important thing is price. And that could be because they're on a really, really tight budget, but they still need the item enough to come in to the store or call you or hit your website up or whatever. But those customers only care about price. So if you haven't priced your older used merchandise at the price that they would want, then you're not going to sell it. You're going to lose that customer.
The thing too is they're more interested in the price and function versus how beautiful it is.
Right. Because they know they got kids at home. They're going to crayon up the bunk bed sides. They're going to pull the handles off the dresser drawers. They know that their dog's going to get on there and slobber it up, right? They know that. They don't want to invest in the extra it's going to cost to get a brand new bougie one because they know that their 4 dogs are going to sit on it and shed on it and everything else. And after a couple of weeks, it's going to look in it. So they just care about, I need something to sit on, man. I need to get off the floor.
Can I sit on? Is it comfortable? Will it hold together with everything that I'm throwing at it? And as long as it does, we're good. Microfiber, leather, whatever the case is, as long as it fits in there, we're good.
The good news is we have merchandise like that, right? Like we have merchandise that's been out maybe 1 or 2 times and didn't stick for whatever reason. And we have it. Now, as long as it works and has all the parts, or at least reasonably can perform the function that it had, then you should still have it on your inventory. If it shouldn't, just get rid of it. Just junk it out. Just cast it. Get something for it. Get it out of here. You pay rent on every square foot of your building. You cannot house merchandise that's not going to make you money.
We were going to talk about, at some point in time, talk about what the product is costing you. And I tell my guys all the time, if it's not just a depreciation, how much is it paying rent for that little spot that you've stuck it in and it hasn't moved anywhere?
And you can figure that out with a calculator.
Oh, yeah.
How much is your rent on your building? How much is a square foot? How many square feet does this living room set take up? How many times is it helping me sell or is it in the way? Right? And if I have to ratchet that price down every week to get it to go, someone might just be sitting there waiting on it and looking at it, You know what I mean? Customer one only cares about the price. If you don't have merchandise for them, they're going to shop elsewhere and find it. Someone that came in probably didn't like the stuff that they saw in Marketplace. Let's just be honest. All right. But they still come in because they know after a time they figure, oh, they got cheap stuff there too. And I can maybe pay it off in same as cash period or something like that. That's customer kind of one. We need those customers to keep the stuff moving. And we're going to make every sale we want to make. So we need those customers. So we have to have stuff for them on the floor, priced, ready to go, draw attention to it. We used to use these fire top tag toppers. And it looked like a flame on top of it. It was, and that's how I used to think about, like, look, this thing's on fire. We got to get out of here before it burns down the whole store. And not because it's ugly or because it's old. If I put a new one in, it's going to sell itself. If I put that new black leather one there, I'm not going to have to work hard. It's just going to look great. It's going to do all the work for me. The merchandise sells itself. And it's not sitting there because this one is. And the worst thing you can do is put that old one in the back and let it get older and older and older and stack stuff on top of it and everything. You got to get it out. You got to put it on the floor. You got to price it to move, and it's got to move. And if it isn't at the right price, keep dropping it. Put OBO at the end of the tag. I don't know. Like, figure something out. Now, the other type of customer is the bougie customer. They want only new. I don't want to talk to you about your used stuff. I don't want some couch that's got a bunch of farts in the cushions. I want a brand new couch, right? They're usually willing to pay a little bit extra, to pay on time. They're great customers to have. If you don't have the newest, the nicest, the shiniest, the most up-to-date technology, you don't have the computer with all the lights on it and the big screen and the screen
RGB fans, right?
Exactly. If you don't have that, that guy's going elsewhere. So you got to have that. You got to have the junky stuff, price to move. You got to have the brand new stuff. And then the best stuff is in the middle, though. That's what the rest of the merchandise is. And that's what the rest of the customers are. This one's just right. Right? It's Goldilocks. Like, the Goldilocks didn't want to sleep in a little bed and the big bed was too lumpy. This one's too little. This one's just right. Right? So we got to have that just right merchandise that's not new anymore. And it's not quite on the discount side. That's what 80% of your inventory is. So you got the three types of customers covered. You got to have the stuff that's brand new and shiny and up to date and brand new and whatever. And everybody wants that. What? They're going to be paying us. So they might as well get the nicest stuff. Makes sense. I got to have that customer. This one over here is the one that's going to keep that stuff moving out of my store. And if they come in, I want to get that sale too. But everybody else is usually going to be like, well, that one's too expensive and that one's just too junky. But this one's just right. Right? And I use those that merchandise is maybe sometimes tougher to move because it's easy to say, I want a brand new couch and I want or I want a cheap couch. We have a website. The customers always got the idea of which one they want. I want the blue one that I see on the website. No, they don't. They say they do. They don't. They want the one that they can have tomorrow. Okay. So that blue one, if you got it, great, fantastic. Lock it down, close the sale, type it up, get it over to their house. Awesome. If you don't just be like, yep, sorry, don't have it.
I better never see a salesperson do that.
You got to say, well, I don't have, but let me show you some pictures of what I have. Because usually a customer's not in the store anymore, right? That doesn't mean you can stop selling. And that doesn't mean just because they wanted the blue one. Yeah, I can tell you, I can order the blue one. I can get you the blue one. You want the blue one? I got the blue one. I'm going to get it. It's going to take me 4 to 6 weeks. Well, I ain't waiting that long. Of course they're not. Right? How about this? I got a couple blue ones. I'm going to send you a couple pictures of a couple other ones that I can get you right now. Let me get you one of these in the meantime. I'll order the new one. And when it comes in, we'll do a switch out. We'll take the money that you spent, put it on the new one. How about that? 9 times out of 10, customers are going to say, all right, because I need a couch. I mean, you know what I mean? Either they're willing to wait, which means they're probably, unless you have a great follow-up mechanism, you're going to lose that one. Or you can get them something right now. They get it in their house and go, you know what? This one's all right. And it's way cheaper than that one he ordered for me. So then by the time the blue one comes in that they ordered, most of the time they say, you know what? I'm good with this one. I'm real close to paying it off now. So I'm just going to go ahead and pay this one off. Fantastic. Now you take that blue one that you ordered for that customer, put it on the showroom floor. And that's for the bougie people that want the brand new. That's the business right there.
Well, you got to have the pricing everywhere that it needs to be, right? You got to have the new for the new. You've got to be able to make sure that you reflect on some of the older product that is an older product, and you can say to them, I know it's an older product. I know that this is not going to sell for high or medium level. This is something that we both agree it's a dog or it's just something that's lived past a good looking life cycle, but it has a lot of life left into it. In the sense
there is
it's
someone out there that will buy it.
Right. And then you have the in-betweens where, like, listen, I'm not pricing it as brand new because I know the difference, and I'm not going to price it as dead because it's not. It looks good. It's functional. And we all know that pre-love doesn't mean it's dead. It doesn't mean that it's brand new. It means that it's usable, and we're going to keep on using it until it runs out of that life cycle. So we want to price it the right way. Now, the question is, right, there's always the big question, because I've heard guys do it both ways, and it's not, I'm going to say I already know how I feel about it, but I'm going to ask you how you feel about it. Somebody comes in and they see a product, right? So the question is, do you reduce the weekly price or do you reduce the term? Now, I know there are times when you're going to end up doing both because that's what it needs. And sometimes it's probably the lower end of the product, right? It's been beat up and you can drop it down a couple dollars, but nobody's still going to pay 78 weeks for it, right? So you got to make it right. The question that I've had go around, what's right? Is it dropping a weekly rate or is it dropping a term?
The question, the right answer to most questions in this business that I've learned over the years is it depends.
It's the big depends.
It depends on the customer. It depends on the situation. I'm not going to let someone walk over a couple bucks a week. I'm just not.
Right.
Right. The thing about it is you got to make a profitable decision for your company and your store. If you stretch the term out a little bit, are they going to care about that? So you got to find out what the customer cares about. Some customers, you can't just assume that they only care about what you think they care about. That's the worst thing you can do is just assume. It makes an, you know what, out of you and me, right?
You and me.
So if you do that, you're going to end up losing a lot of sales out of it. You also can't be so rigid that you don't make a decision on the spot that's good for them and good for us. You just got to be aware and you got to be ready to wheel and deal and you got to know your parameters. And if that coworker is not confident doing that, they need to get with a manager that is. And the manager needs to be well trained by his leader on what's a good decision. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to just give someone a $49.99 living room set a week for $19.99 just because they feel like it, because you just devalued that living room set. You just say, well, I was lying about that price that I had on there before. It's really just, I'll make it fit you. There's some of that, but you also got to have that. You want the high dollar, you got to pay for it, right? I can't just I can maybe give you a pre-release version of it and knock that price down. I could probably wiggle with that. Brand new, it's never going to be any more valuable than it is right now, especially if I take a big discount and I'm just wheeling and dealing. You're going to find that you're going to wheel and deal yourself down to a loss.
Low profits. And then one of the big questions, the reason that came up is because one of the questions I had, right, is the guys come in and they have two shipments that came in. We got a washer and dryer. So we got a Mana Set 1 and a Mana Set 2, right? A Mana Set 1 goes out, it gets used, it comes back. Now I've got a pre-release set, right? And it's on the floor. And then somebody's going through and they're like, oh, well, this set's pre-released, this set's brand new. I'm going to make this set $20. I'm going to make this set $18 or $17. Now here's the question then. you're going to have to leave them the same depending, of course, on the situation. If they look the same, I'm going to leave them the same. Now you would reduce the term in that sense. Okay. Now, we change it to a term where you got two sofas, very, very similar or just alike, right? And one came in 6 months ago. It's in decent shape, but you can tell, you can see, all right? It's worn around the corners. The edging's got a little bit, somebody dragged it a little bit,
right.
Legs a little bit wobbly. So you got that one that you've redone as best as possible, and you've got the brand new one sitting next to it. And then the question is, okay, is this one 1688 versus the 1980 or 2988 versus a 2488? Or are they both 2988, but this one is for 6 months less and this one's at 78 weeks, this one's at 52. And
that's the better sale, man. Like it's
right?
the better sale to leave the weekly rate alone and drop it now.
And I agree.
But, big but, I'm not going to lose a sale over something that if it ends up with the depreciation that I'm looking for, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel like the customer's going to, it's not for 130 weeks or something crazy where they're going to be paying like a car payment on it. I'm going to probably find a way to make it comfortable for them. Now, a lot of people, it's funny that we always want to automatically go, can we lower it? How about raising it? You ever think like there's people out there that,
oh, that's a great topic. The upsell on the pricing to make it cheaper in the end is actually a great, I don't think we talk about that enough.
Not
in the
at
industry.
all. Like, it's a lot about the pricing. Like when I make a sale on the showroom floor, I think I talked about this before, but I start with cash. Why wouldn't I start with cash? Like, I'm not going to assume you're broke just because I spent all day calling people that told me they were, and they may or not be. right? They may or may not be, but I've been hearing all day, I can't make that payment till such and such a day. I got it. And that's okay. That happens. That's why we have flexibility to work with people, right? But if I let that brainwash me into thinking that everybody walks in my door wants the worst case scenario and I only worry about the weekly price, I'm not going to what if a customer's like, look, I can make payments, big payments, chunk payments, but I'm not going to let you talk me into it. I want to start off with what's the cheapest and easiest way you can make this sale happen. That's probably a cash sale. Cheaper for me because I don't have to manage the account for very long. It's done. I'll do the delivery. I make my turns or whatever right all at once. I don't have to charge for a bunch of account management time and runs and door tags and all that stuff because it's not going to happen because I got all my money now. Now, that is only going to be taken up on a couple of times a month. It's not going to be every sale, but I'm going to start there anyway. I'll make a big down payment. A lot of people, when they do a same as cash, they think, oh, it's going to be done at that 90 day, 180 day, whatever it is. It's just, if I just do the payments, I'm going to pay it off in that time. And unfortunately, if we don't explain that that's not the case, they can leave with that assumption. And then they think they don't do the math and they're, oh, if I only pay that $100 a month and I pay 3 times, that's $300. It's not going to be the $700 or $800 cash price. They think, well, this is the cash price and I paid by payments, right? How many of those conversations have we had? A lot. Too many. But you can cater your situation to them. You want to pay this off in 4 months. The cash price is this much. Let's say it's $1,200. 300, 300, 300, 300, and you're done. Why wouldn't a customer do that if they could?
Well, the big difference, too, is so that everybody's aware. When we're talking about same as cash, the same as cash is a pricing that's associated with a rental term that has a same as cash period attached to it. Whether it be your first 3 months, your 4 months, 5 months. I know some of us go 6 months, and I've heard of 12 months because Rent King does that on certain programs of a certain dollar. And then you have a cash sale, which means they walk in, they buy it, they leave, it's theirs.
Right.
One way or another, both of those prices can be one and the same, but then they can be different because...
I think you should be different. It's the best price for the customer. It's the best cost situation for us because how long would it take to get to $1,000, $20 at a time? Or you get that $800 right now, or $750, let's call it, right? You get $750 right now, no risk, no anything out the door, delivery included, why not?
Let's take a quick break.
Hey everyone, it's Pete Chow here from the RTO Show podcast, and I want to tell you about a company that's making a real difference in the rent-to-own space, Wow Brands. I've seen firsthand how they approach marketing, and let me tell you, it's not just about ads. Wow Brands builds complete digital ecosystems designed specifically for the rent-to-own industry. Their e-commerce and lead generation strategies are built to bring in qualified leads. And did I mention that they are actively working with the rent-to-own industry while also being members of APRO and TRIB? Listen, these folks are passionate problem solvers. They don't just slap something together. They design, build, and scale the kind of digital retail tools your business needs and your customers actually want. So if you're serious about growing, reach out to Wow Brands at wowbrands.com. I trust them, and I think you will too. Well, listen, guys, we're improving your cash flow with that idea. Now, here's the thing. When you're talking about same as cash and somebody walks in the door, they have to understand that the reason between your same as cash and your cash sale, although they sound very similar, are different because one involves somebody maybe calling you, deliveries included, services included, because you're still within the rental period of a same as cash time frame. So there are other expenses that fall into a same as cash that do not fall into your cash sale. And sometimes we got to let our guys know that, yes, can it be cash sold for that amount? Sure. Is it listed on the tag? Sure. But I would really differentiate with the customer up front. If you're looking to buy it now, as in walk in, hand me a dollar bill, and walk out with it, that is a better deal as far as cash amount than putting on same as cash. Now, same as cash has its own value as well, right? Because you still get it covered in a certain amount of time frame.
They don't have to come up with the whole thing right now.
Correct. And then you're in 3 payments or 4 payments, or if they do it weekly or whatever the case is, they can split that up over amongst amount of time, still get the service, still get the delivery, and everything that comes along with it. So make sure that you're pricing your tags consistently on that. And if you do have cash prices, let them know it's not a same as cash price. And if you have a same as cash price, let them know it might not be as good as a cash price.
Don't assume anything. Let the customer tell you. You know what I mean? Like, don't assume they don't have any money in their pocket. Don't make the decision for them. Oh, everybody does $19.99. That's the big price on the price tag. Everybody does weekly. They just do that because that's what we did. Like, that doesn't mean that that's best for the customer. They should hear all the options. Go from cash down to a big down payment, down to monthly on, like, you can tell them every which way that they can save money or make a valuable decision for themselves in order to get this item the way that works for them. And that might be weekly. It might be giving you $10 today. That's fine. That's what we're here to do. Like, we're here to do that, but it shouldn't be the first and only offer that the customer hears when we make a sale. Like, they should know that, hey, if you put a big chunk down, you're not going to be due again for another couple of months. And you can come in anytime in between now and then and make more payments and push yourself even farther. And then once you get to that same as cash period, all you got to do is pay the rest. So why wouldn't the customer make that decision if they knew they could? And if they don't know they can, that's a failure on our side of not explaining every way possible that they could potentially save money and get value out of our program. And that's the way the customer's going to appreciate that and probably reward it with more purchases.
Another way of pricing that you guys need to be aware of is we've talked about used versus new on the sales floor. And looking very much the same and not being the same on the price tag. But here's another thing. Something that I've also come across doing rent-to-own for a long period of time. We have needs, right? So let's say we go into the fourth quarter. We have needs. There's some great deals going on. And we get, let's say, Amana washers for a certain price. Then we're in the fourth quarter, and that just happened to be that Amana brand new washing machine made it through the fourth quarter. For whatever reason, we didn't sell it. But now we've got an Amana set that comes in, and it's a little bit higher. You have to keep consistency through the same thing. You can't have a one washer that is the same value as another washer, but maybe to you it's monetary a little bit different because the customer is going to see that washing machine is the same washing machine, right? It's the same tub space. It has the same bells and whistles. One's HE. Well, the other one's HE. They're pretty much the same thing. I'm looking at the model number, same model number, but why is this one this amount and this one's another? Make sure that you're consistently tagging your entire floor the same way with the same eyefall. Just because, you have different things that happen differently, right? We've determined you've got to have a good eye when you're looking at your floor. You have to be able to look at it and go, this is used. This is what I would price it for. This is new. This is what I would price it for. This is a cash sale. This is what I would price it for. This is a little bit used and this is what I would price it for. Make sure that you don't have two items that are like exactly the same sitting on your showroom with the exact same look, style, model, and they have two different price tags. Because that can also throw a customer off when you're doing proper pricing. Make sure that you're walking around doing that. So when you have that eye, like you said, the big guys, they walk in, first thing they do is they kind of eyeball the tags. We got to do that every day.
Yeah.
And I think a great idea to do is, number one, is probably start with the person that sells the most and have them walk with you. And just, even if they have a great answer or they don't have a great answer, good thing might be just to ask them why there's a difference. Why is there a difference between these two? And let them figure that out in their mind, because usually they're going to come up with I don't know. And the answer is, I don't either. We really got to think of it from the customer's point of view when they walk in the door and go, why would these two things be different if I can't find a difference? Because now I'm going to lose, like you said before, I'm going to lose faith in the pricing.
Right. And there should be some kind of consistent follow-up. Like, you gotta, most companies are going to do an inventory or two a week. And we usually did two. And one of them was to make sure everything was there. They're both to make sure everything is there. Right.
Right.
And then the other thing is to look and make sure that we've priced it to sell. Like, there should be one that you kind of do with maybe the collections manager or car, or somebody helping. You should always have someone helping you, and not just to help you, but also train them. Like, the car should know when they come back with this TV, I'm going to put it in the back so that you can see the serial number, because every time I do the inventory with Pete, he makes me pull it out and I got to go back there and look. The next time he's going to put it up on the shelf with the serial number out and the tag showing, right? So that right there, if you have someone helping you, helping means training, right? And you should always be explaining good decision making, because the more people know, there's only a certain amount of questions you got to answer as a leader of a store like this. And sooner or later, they're going to be exposed to all of it, as long as you're sharing freely all the information, right? As far as pricing is concerned, you should once a week be looking like, okay, what's getting older? What's moved? What hasn't moved? Why? Does this make sense? Does that make sense? Right?
It's a showroom evaluation. I want to say, sometimes as you're going over some of the prices that you have, and I'm not going to say that this should determine everything that you do, but you also want to make sure as you're looking at your prices, even if your prices are correct, you want to look at it and go, am I pricing myself out of the market, right? Am I market savvy to know that everybody has this for 1988 or 1999, whatever the case is? I'm at like 30, okay? Yep. And so somebody comes in and says, hey, man, I really like this product. I've seen it somewhere else. You treat me very well. I come in the door and, oh, Hey guys, I got to go somewhere. I got something to do. You don't want to put yourself out there in the sense that they're not really in the market range. And so I'm not going to say that you don't have matrices to go by, because sometimes they have a pricing matrix and is what you got to do. And I would definitely get with whoever is ahead of you to say, hey, I think this is a good move to this rate or to change to that rate. But you got to look at it. You got to look basically online or at different locations. You know,
like back in the day, we used to do the secret, like you go shop the competition.
Oh, you have to shop them. You have to shop them because
right now it's
matters.
easier than ever, because you just go on the internet on your phone and get on their mailing list. Why not, right? If you work at one company, why wouldn't you be on the other company's mailing list?
I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm on the RTO show, and I'm subscribed to a lot of you guys, okay? And like I said, some of you guys got some great prices, and some of you guys are like, I know I'm beating that guy. I'm just saying.
Exactly. And that's the thing you got to find out. Like, no one's going to pay more. Like, with people going online, your online showroom is just as important, if not more important, than your in-house showroom. So if you, like at the company I used to work for, the prices on the floor, on the price tag that was printed last for that item is online. So if someone just made a slap tag for something that's crazy, no one put any thought into, that's actually posted online. And then let's say I need a PS5 and I'm going to look at 5 different websites of all the companies around, and which one am I going to go to? I'm going to go to the one that has the best deal. And if you're not the one with the best deal, at least usually you can find a median where everybody's kind of at.
Right. In the price range.
Saying? And that's where you got to be, because no one's going to like give you 39 because if they could get it 29 across the street, no one's going to do that.
You know, another thing with proper pricing is I think everybody needs to remember that when somebody comes in the door, because you might not always be the lowest. I wouldn't always recommend to be the highest, but you might not always be the lowest. That there's a difference between value and price.
Yep.
You know, and when somebody comes in and says it's only about price, yes, at the end of the day, you're going to spend that. But what are you getting for that dollar amount? What are you getting for that weekly rate, that monthly rate, that same as cash or that cash price? Are you going to get the delivery included? Are you going to get everything that we're going to offer? And then this is sometimes how you differentiate yourself by everybody else. Okay, they might be $1 or $2 cheaper, but can they get it to you today? Is it working? Do they have all the pieces? You know, it might be great. Maybe they can. Maybe they can't. But you know what? I can schedule between 4 and 6. I can get you out there today. I can make sure that, I
don't know of any companies that don't price match. Like, I just don't.
Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now, except I think we had an exception for like Amazon. Like we just listen, okay, we're going to say Amazon, like you go to Amazon, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be difficult. You know, they can be there in like 24 hours, you know,
RTO to RTO,
RTO to RTO. It's, I'm going to tell you right now, it takes about 3 seconds for somebody who's trying to just pull up, somebody else's competition, especially if you're price shopping on a regular basis. You probably got it, tagged or bookmarked. You can go to and go, boom. This is what it is.
And maybe a great time to do that would be before you do that inventory with that salesperson, to be kind of fresh in your mind of what their prices are looking like, so that when you go look at yours, am I in the ballpark? Well, maybe I can come up a little bit. Like, this guy's doing it for that. It doesn't seem like he's going out of business tomorrow. So maybe I'll go up to there. You know what I mean? Like, or is that where I want to be? Do I want to be lower than this guy? Because maybe he's just crazy and he's a bad business person. I don't know. I'm not going to try to match it. I'm just going to look at my depreciation I'm looking for, the price, the number of payments that I'm looking for, the number of payments. Maybe it's way different. You know what I mean? Because then if a customer does bring it to you and say, hey, so-and-so's got it for this, and we're like, yeah, but that's because they're going for 2 years. Mine's for 78 weeks. And, you got to know the difference. Like, I can do it for me. I'll raise the weeks if you want me to match them. But if you ask me, you're getting it paid off fast. You're owning it faster and easier with this, paying a little extra per payment.
Well, that's a great point, because proper pricing also involves the product that you're selling. Because everybody, okay, it's a price. But when I'm looking at something and I'm pricing it, one of the factors that hit me is this worth paying for a year versus 2 years, right? Is this one of those wear out items that you just should not be paying for it over 2 years? And for instance, when I say that, I'm just going to try to throw a great random idea out there, but it might not be so great to have a tire that maybe has a 40,000 to 60,000 wear mile tread for 2 years versus a year. It might be better for them to get out of the way, and it might be better for you as an owner or a company to get that out of the way versus something that can take that long, because you know what? If you don't move a bedroom set, they usually last a little bit longer, right? As long as you're not moving that bedroom set up and down the stairs and in and out, if you're just opening drawers that are meant to be opened and you're really not killing it, you could probably do it 2 years without any question. But then you have those wear items that are going to wear out a lot faster. Or the question is, do I really want to take this small electronic and just run it out with a $5 a week payment? But the truth is, there's a couple things that happen with that. Number one is they want to own it quickly. They don't want to feel like they owe a ton of money on something that's really not as important as a bed or as a washer. This is a want, not a need. And so after a while, they're going to get kind of like, okay, I don't really use it all the time. I'm still paying on it. Maybe I just send that back because I don't need it. Price it in a range where you're going to say, yes, this might be, like you said, a little bit more per week or a little bit more per month, but you're knocking months off of this.
Right.
Also, upselling that price, even if it is, let's say $10 or $12 a week for 78 weeks, and you can say, I can do it for 15 and knock you down to 52. I can do it for $20 a week. I can knock you down to a year, and it's going to save you a lot more in the long run. And price it in there, not just because it's a lower price item doesn't mean that that's what they can afford. It just means what they're looking at.
Right.
So price it in what they can afford in their range, and you can knock it out of the park.
Well, let's talk about package pricing for a minute.
Ooh, packages.
All right. I mean, based on the weekly rate, the item, it would fall into a tier. And then this tier was $100 a month, and this one was 150, 200, up to 300, right? That was like the really nice, but it included the living room, lamps, tables, and the rug. So you got a whole room of furniture for $250 a month based on if it's got motorized recliners and, cup holders and the way place to charge your phone. Yeah, it's going to be the $250, $300 range, right? If it's something you're trying to get rid of, I can get you a whole room of furniture, living room, tables, lamps, rug, everything for $100 a month. I mean, it's going to be on the lower end, right? No recliners, just a couch and love type thing with maybe some small flimsy tables or whatever. But hey, everybody's different. Everybody's space is different. Everybody's needs are different. So I'm not going to look down on that, because if I don't have that $19.99 thing, I'm not going to get the $19.99 customer. If I don't have the nice fancy one, I'm not going to get that customer, right? So what I did is I even took it in my area. I took it a step further and I made it $200 with tax and the benefits program and everything all included out the door. $200, no 207 because of sales tax, $200. So if I had a tag on it on the showroom floor that said it was $200, it was $200. And the customers found that really easy to work with, and easy to budget. Plus, I'm already talking about a monthly price, and I'm only having to manage that account once a month. $200. $200. What's the best day? The magic question right now in my mind, and the thing that I said over and over and over and over and over to all my stores to ask the customers when we were getting ready to finalize the contract, what is the best day of the month for the money to come out of the bank for this payment? That is the magic question. It's a question that already assumes monthly. It already assumes that they're just going to have to, I'm letting them pick. Like, you want to be on the 20th? 20th sounds great to me, right? 20th month. That money's automatically going to come out of the bank, $200 on the nose. You can budget it. You know what's coming. Everything is good. Now, are they stuck with that? No, because that had to come from a weekly rate. You know what I mean? That you could figure it out. It's just math. You can use Excel. It's okay. Like, you come up with a chart that says, if I'm going to do $200 a month, I got to type it at 36.72 or whatever it is a week, right? And that's not right. I'm just saying numbers. Okay.
Correct.
For an example, but it's easy. That's the number one thing. This one's $200. That one's $250. Obviously, you can see why. This one has a TV that pops out of the middle of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you price it and then you can tell the customer, if you want the $300 one, a $200 one, maybe you get a used, one that's rented before, but it's a higher end model, but it's been out that you can do for the $200 price. Now you're wheeling and dealing. You know what I'm saying? But the ease, like these days, they want it fast. They want it easy. And if I could tell you that I could put that living room set with tables, lamps, rug, any tables, any lamps, any rug you see, I'll put it in there. That'll be $200 a month on the dot, on the day you want it to be on. Who's going to say no to that if they need a living room set?
I'm not going to lie to you, man. I'm not really done it that way. I've priced a lot of different ways. I've never priced on the nose, but I think it's a great idea, actually.
Well, plus they already got the benefits program that they don't want. When you start going over and then there's an extra $3 for such and such a week. And then they go, I don't want that. Yeah, they do. When Hurricane Charlie comes, they definitely want that.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
So but they don't want it at the time. But if you tell them it's all included, the whole thing of selling is, even if you don't do the 200 on the dot, which I just liked it because I hated the fact that you could do something. If you do a $200 a month for a living room set, then you got benefits plus, that's the next $12. Then you got tax, which is probably going to be another 7%. Then on top, so that you started off agreeing to $200 and then you're explaining why it's $238. Just make it $200. Just make it that with everything included. And then when you're closing the contract and going over everything the customer has, you're also saying over and over, oh, and that's all included in that 200 I told you about. Oh, you also get you get lightning, fire, smoke, windstorm, theft, flood, all that stuff happens. You don't have to worry about it. You can just walk away. All the payments go away. That's all included in the 200 I told you. Oh, and if you have a fire or something like that, or you have $500 in grocery coupons and all the stuff that benefits marketing does, you know what I mean? All that stuff. Oh, that's all included in that 200 price I told you. Quoting the price all in. When they say yes or no, they made the sale. Like, you stop talking. Like, don't just give it to them all included in the price that you already said yes to.
We've talked about this on the show before. Just shut up and make the sale. Make the sale.
Just stop talking, start typing.
One of the last things, and one of the points that I get at, well, two things. Number one is to always try to put like items together so that you're pricing for the right things. You don't want to price something that somebody might want to pay off at a different time frame as something else, right? So you want to get a washer and dryer in the same package. You might not want to do a washer and dryer with a set of coffin end table and lamps because they're not going to see the value of both of that together. They're going to say, well, how much have I paid into it to get the tables off?
Right.
Well, you can't because they're together.
There's two sides of that because let's say I've always pushed sales for packages, the TV and the soundbar. Why?
Yes.
Because the soundbar, you're going to just play it and they'll know why they need it, right? Now, let's say they hit a snag. They get that something happens. Life happens to them. If you just sell single items to every single customer, you're going to lose a lot of customers. But if you sell the living room, the tables, the lamps, the rug and everything, then if they hit a snag, you can say, well, I'll tell you what. You really need the lamps. Here's what I can do for you. Come in, bring me the lamps back. I'm going to have to redo your contract. We're going to have to forget about the couple weeks that you passed due. It's no big deal. We'll just throw them on the end. We're going to make it a little cheaper for you. And then the customer doesn't lose their investment. You don't lose the customer. You just downsize them a little bit. And then with the lamps back down the road, they can get it back. It's all about giving yourself backup points on the contract too. Like, well, maybe you don't need the Xbox. Maybe you don't need, you can give me the soundbar back and you can still watch TV tonight. You know what I'm saying? And then you're able to help them. You're creating ways to help them down the road. Doesn't mean that they'll never get it back, but it also means that they get to keep all the money they gave you. Doesn't go away. Like, you still can help them get to paying off something, getting something for their investment. Otherwise, that's how we get that bad reputation. We got to make sure customers get to the end. And that's number one. That should be the number one thing.
Yeah. And another thing that I think is so important with proper pricing is, this is a pet peeve of mine. Like, we're not even talking about price dollars amount right now. I like to see the tags consistent. Man, there's nothing worse than when I come into a store and I'm looking around and you see a sea of tags and they look like somebody with ADHD just kind of started slapping tags everywhere. You got one on a sofa, one on a love seat. The recliners are you got one up top, one on the bottom, one in the corner. TVs are all over the place. You got one in the bottom corner, top. You want to make them stationary. That's where they are. You got the top left corner, use the top left corner. Top right corner, top right corner.
People don't put enough stock in stuff like that on their showroom floor because it's definitely the customers should know where to look to see how much something is on and it should be in the same place on every single item like that, right? If it's going to be on the right hand corner, I don't care where it is. Pick one. It's a left-hand corner. Left-hand corner it is.
That's right.
That's great.
That's it.
But it needs to be on the left-hand corner on all the TVs on the wall. The things about like bedroom sets used to drive me crazy, right? Like, you go in and see a bedroom set and they're trying to jam like 5 bedroom sets in a space where there should be 3. And they got all 5 of them, and they got the dressers in front of the nightstand, and the nightstand's over here, and everything, and it looks like a joke. That subconsciously, the customers know something's wrong here. Like, it looks like a nice pile of lumber, but maybe I'm telling you, just put the other 2 in the back, bro. Put the bed where the bed goes, the nightstand where the nightstand goes, the lamps where the lamps go, and then when your subconscious mind, when they look at the bedroom set display, they don't think your subconscious mind, something's wrong. So, like, I would never put my dresser at the end of the bed. You know what I mean? At home. But we think that if we display it like that, just to save some space, that customer's subconscious, or they're going to be able to overcome already all the objections they already got. Then you got to overcome that subconscious objection. Well, I just think this doesn't work because who puts the dresser right here? I'm not going to have that in my room. That's not going to work in my room. You got to show them what it's going to look like. You know, your living room set, you got to have like a certain amount of space between the table, the sofa, and the love seat, so you can see the coffee table in the middle and the lamp, everything, all that stuff. It matters. Like, it matters when people walk in order for them to envision that room in their house, they got to be able to picture it. And they shouldn't have to use their imagination on what that bedroom's going to look like.
You would think that having a showroom would mean that they would have to use it less. The only thing they would have to do is focus in on the items around it, right? I have a wall here and I have a wall there. And that's one thing I just always say, guys, put it in a consistent spot. Make sure that it looks good on everything. Not just setting it up, but making sure that the tags look good too, and they're legible, they're readable, they're in some place where somebody's going to find it. Just because you can find it doesn't mean that they can find it. You want some place where it's going to stand out and they can know this price is for this product, and not go, okay, I see this price tag, but I'm reading it, but I'm just not really sure. Everything should have a price tag, and everything should have its place to be, especially when you're doing, when you have your package pricing. Make sure that they know what package it's for. Don't put it somewhere where it's like willy-nilly and you're like, okay, I don't know if it's for this set or is it for this set, or, it should be in a place and stationary enough so that whatever you're looking at, that that's the price that goes with it.
And that's why I prefer those tier packaging strategies that basically like $200, $150. It's one price. Bam. Right there, right in the middle of the coffee table, $200. Includes the tables, lamps, rug, everything. Bang, out the door. That's easy. It's like 14 tags. Well, this one's for the TV and this one's for the rug and this. Oh, well, I have to scan my inventory later, so I like to spread them out so it's easy for me to scan it. Are you trying to sell it or scan it?
When you do that, do you do what some people do when they take all the tags and they kind of stick it behind the package tag so it just kind of sits there?
Easy for the customer. That's it. Those scanners, I think, like back in the day, we used to have to do 3 paper. I don't know if you were there at Rent-A-Center.
Oh, yeah.
3 inventories a week by hand, paper inventories. And you had to write front, back, whatever, right?
I still do it. Believe it or not, I still do it.
You should do it because that's the best way to do it. I even use the red pen for the front and the black pen for the back, and I write stuff in the margins, and it should look like a mess when you're done with it, right?
Absolutely. Every one of mine is
scanners,
everything.
Like how many stores have we found where you just open up the drawer and the manager's office has got a big 3-inch stack of tags, and that's how they do their inventory. Go beep, 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 beep. I did the inventory, boss. Oh, great. Good. You did it. It's all, and who knows if that stuff's really here, if it's on display, if it's priced right. They don't care. They're just trying to get from the beginning to the end. That's where the district manager comes in. That's, you know what I mean? Because if you, did you do your scan? Yeah. All right. How many exceptions? Oh, 6. Good job. How do you know?
Right. No, I like putting my hands on everything.
But the pricing for the customer, like you said, it should all be in the same spot, the same pretty consistent way. They shouldn't have to hunt for it. They shouldn't have to do, they shouldn't have to pull out their graphing calculator. They shouldn't have to.
They should put on the GPS to find out the tags. So listen, guys, as you're going through your pricing, make sure that you make it to your stores. Make sure that you have it in the right spot. Make sure that you price it correctly between something that's been pre-loved, brand new, and something that just really needs to leave out the door with your 3 tiers. Make sure that you watch the placement and make sure that whatever you put on that tag is what's going to be out there. You don't want to put any funny willy-nilly numbers, and make sure that your numbers match the market value of what it is. You don't want to be the highest guy on the block, and you don't want to be the lowest. You want to make sure that you're doing it and you're doing it right. Be consistent across all your brands and everything that you have in the store as far as good inventory, bad inventory, and what needs to move. Make sure that you package correctly and you package in the area in a way that makes it make sense. I love the idea that $200 or the $300 includes everything. I think that's a great idea. Make sure that you shop online regularly. I think that's something that you're gonna have to understand. Don't let it slip by. Anytime that you have something come on the floor, whether it be new, whether it be if somebody has a good vendor has a consistent pricing on it, and all of a sudden they have a drop price, let me tell you, you probably have an RTO company who's probably buying that drop price as well. And find out what they're marking it at. You don't want to lose any money, but you don't want to be the guy that's not doing it correctly. Make sure that if you have the opportunity that you do not do the slap tags, all right? Don't just make a tag, throw it out there, and then say it's good to go. Make sure that we're looking at it, make sure that it makes sense. And for everybody that's out there, when we package things together, when we put things together, when we consistently put them on the right side, when we consistently set things up the way they should be, whether it's brand new, pre-loved, it needs to move, whether we're discussing whether we're moving up the price so that we can lower the rates or whatever the case is, this is all beneficial for the customer. And pricing is just like your showroom. If it doesn't look good, we don't look good. So make it look good. Let it make sense. Have your guys go around with you. Learn, train, show them what you expect in your proper pricing, and we guarantee that you're going to make more sales. Right now, everywhere we can get some more vendors on this, we have a giveaway that's going to be happening very, very soon. Please stay in touch with us as far as Facebook and Instagram. If you have any questions for Jason or myself, hit us up at pete@thertoshowpodcast.com, or you can go online and find out what's going on with the RTO Show at www.thertoshowpodcast.com. We have some open spots for some other sponsors to come on, so show us a little love at the RTO Show. We will be at some of the next shows that we have going on next year. And again, subscribe, hit a like, and make sure that you don't miss us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else that you hear the RTO Show. We do appreciate your time taking out listening to us. And as always, remember, keep your credit low, get your sales high. Have a good one.